What is the big fear that stops so many new people jump right into commercial office cleaning? What's that big fear? I'm going to tell you right now what it is and ultimately how to avoid it so you can get off to a fast start and ultimately build this business without taking side detours into residential cleaning, which, let's be real, you don't want to do. That big fear is, how do I stick out from, as a beginner, how in the world do I compete with the big dogs? How do I beat the giants, so to speak? Well, it's very straightforward. I'm going to get into it. But if you're new around here, my name is Mike Mack, founder of AutomatedCleaningBusiness.com. I've been in this industry over a decade. I'm still in this industry, and I help everyday people break through, leave the 9 to 5, and ultimately build the business that they want to build. All right. So, quickly, it's free. Second link in the description, the 5,000 client playbook. Go for it. The team will get mad if I didn't do that. All right. So let's talk about it. You're wanting to do this, right? But a lot of times people end up in two buckets. Either they don't do it at all, which is horrible. They don't start that business, or they'll jump into residential cleaning and then they never quite make it back. And that's usually because it becomes so complicated running a $10,000 a month, gross, $10,000 a month gross cleaning business. And it's like, it's supposed to be remote. It's supposed to be easy. And then people find a lot of complication when they're trying to scale it. And then they never quite make it back to commercial. And it's usually because of this fear. How do I stand out? How did I do it, right? I'm not some guy on the internet just spewing BS. I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. I sold my first cleaning business. A lot of you know that who watch the videos. I blew a lot of that money just on various business models. And I found myself leaving my 9 to 5, or back at my 9 to 5, and then leaving early ultimately because I was miserable, and I was like, I gotta make it happen. My wife stay at home. I have to be able to replace our income in the next, 90 days to 120 days. Felt impossible at the time, especially when I was working with my last paycheck. But here's what I did. And I didn't know it at the time, but there was two huge breakthroughs. And the first breakthrough was positioning. Now, I didn't have the budget to run Google ads. I didn't have the desire because I have a history of cold calling at that time, cold calling and canvassing door to door. I knew that stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work because it ultimately leads you to getting bad customers. And then here's what's worse. When you play the game like everyone else, you get the results everyone else gets. And if you're brand new, you're not going to know what I mean, but anyone who's been doing this at all, if you're getting these results, it's because your marketing's poor. I'll prove it in a minute. But you'll get the results where you think nobody has the budget, nobody wants to pay cleaning prices anymore, everybody wants to keep the cleaning in-house. If that's your experience, I get it, but I'm telling you that's why it's happening. Don't think the market's bad just because you haven't figured out marketing yet. Not trying to be mean. I'm trying to help you because I'd rather you snap out of it and understand that you can fix it. All right, so let's keep it for my beginners. So my last, few $100, because I couldn't compete in those ways, I decided, okay, what if I make myself the end all be all, right? What if I position myself as the company for small schools? I am the company for small schools. That's why we exist. We don't do anything else. That's all we do. We exist to help daycares thrive, to keep germs out of small schools. That's us. We won't take on another account. That's all we do. So we become specialists at that point. Okay, so we had one thing going for us. And then what was that second breakthrough? Second breakthrough was the billboard effect. Okay. Now, why are billboards effective? Because you constantly see a brand every day. Right? Injury attorney, every day. Going to work, coming home from work, going to work, coming home from work, going home. So what happens over time is it starts getting into your brain, right? Because of the familiarity. It starts getting into your brain. You start understanding them, the brand. And when something happens, injury related, you think of the injury attorney that you are constantly seeing. That's how you start building trust, right? You start seeing something. We trust things we come into contact with, right? The more we come into contact with things, the more we begin to trust those things. So creating a billboard effect was so powerful for us because we had the positioning going. We were the end all be all for schools. And now the billboard effect was, well, how can I get as many schools as possible to feel that billboard effect? Now, to do what I was doing at the time was just I was writing these very persuasive sales letters and postcards and trinkets, packages, and I was putting these campaigns together. But to do that, I couldn't afford to do it for thousands of people. Like most people are marketing, they're marketing to thousands of people and they're playing the numbers game, right? It's why people have some success with cold email, because you're just numbers. I couldn't do that. So I could legitimately afford for my first campaign 25 people. 25 people, 25 schools, that's it. That's all I could do. 25 small daycares, it's all I could do. I couldn't afford anymore. So it had to work. And I'll be honest with you, at the time, I didn't think it would. I just thought like, well, it's my duty as a man right now. I just got to make it happen for this family. So we sent out those campaigns, and as fate would have it, we got a few phone calls right off the bat. And we thought they were going to turn into clients. They did not. They just complimented us on this because they were like, nobody was showing up like this. This is the first time they had ever received marketing like this, which is right there. That's your cue right there. It's like, okay, we're on to something. This is a major success. But then the next two calls became clients. They were small clients because they're daycares, but that was my jumping off point. I mean, at that point, I was still 4 months away from the high ticket, which I'll make my next video about, where it's like, whoa, $5,000 per month offices, end all be all. I'll show you about that because it's a different level at that point. But that positioning and that billboard effect, that's how I was able to dominate. And that's how you'll be able to dominate. If everyone is showing up a certain way, you have an opportunity. You have the ability, as someone who's brand new in this game, to wipe the floor with them, because you're playing a different game. You're playing a completely different game. You get to come in. You get to be Chick-fil-A. That's what you get to do. You get to be completely different. You get to turn the fast food game upside down. You get to turn the cleaning business game upside down, locally, of course. That's what I've managed to do twice now. I help people do it on the regular. People with no experience, all the time. If this is something you're serious about, it's something you want to get in and you want to not make any mistakes, you don't want to mess around with residential, and you don't want to not do it at all, click the first link in the description, talk with my team, see if it's a good fit to work with each other. If not, that's cool too. But if you are just like on a YouTube university mission right now, you're just like, I need more though. I'm juiced up, but like, what else could I do to land these clients? I got your back. No gatekeeping here. Go ahead. Go over there. I'm waiting. I'll go see you over there. Peace out, Cub Scouts.